hello there, everyone. It's Julieann and
Butch Hartman. Welcome to HARTbeat. We are so glad you are all here joining us. I can't talk. We're so glad you're all here joining us today. Welcome to Healing Journeys today. We have just celebrated our how many years anniversary?
2 years.
2 years.
On Saturday.
This channel has been up and running for 2 years straight with teaching 7 days a week from different instructors who've all been through miraculous healings and miraculous moments themselves. We came through a huge miraculous healing with her back in when did the healing? What year was the healing?
Well, 2008 is when it started.
That's when it started. When did it when did it finally? When did you realize you were healed?
14. I had the revelation earlier, but it just took me a while to allow that revelation to be a part of what's what I'm trying to say is to be a part of every part of my life. It's like I had the revelation, but it didn't mean that when I set out to do something that I would still try to accommodate for a sickness. I would still try to accommodate for being limited.
Right, because a lot of times we get so caught up in the fact that we're sick that we can only identify as a sick person.
Yeah.
And so your everyday is built around, well, I'm sick today, so I'll do this. And listen, I'm not saying you don't feel symptoms. I'm not saying you don't have a situation going on, but it's getting that mindset. The Bible says that we're transformed by the renewing of our mind. And you were transformed by the renewing of your mind because you ceased to identify as a sick person.
But it was renewing. So that means it was a daily process. And I want to say hi to Valdo because we haven't seen you in so long.
Valdo is back. What's up, Valdo? There he is. Hello, guys. Praise the Lord. Love you, buddy.
Are you like living not in California anymore? Anyway, Lisa
says happy Star Wars Day. Yes, May the 4th be with you. It's May the 4th today. And by the way, on Monday, May 9th is our 30-year wedding anniversary. That's right. We have new rings. These are our new anniversary rings we got for ourselves. We very rarely buy
for each other.
I got you something. Yeah. How come the one I got you is way more expensive than the one you got me?
You could have got something more
expensive.
How
did that work out?
Well, just girls stuff just costs more for some reason.
I know. What is up with that? Except if I was going to buy like a, I don't know, like a life-size stormtrooper or something like that.
Right.
That might be, But anyway, folks, we're so glad you're here. How was your week? Please let us know in the comments how your week was. What amazing thing did God do for you in your life this week? We want to hear because it would not only, you might think it's something mundane, like, oh, the Lord did that again. Oh, it's just a little thing. You have no idea how the little things might help somebody else out in your situation. Someone's gonna be in your same situation. They won't even they'll probably never meet you face to face, but just by saying something in the comments today, you can really help move somebody down into that or towards that that revelation they've been wanting to get. So don't forget to do that.
Well, we thank you guys for coming on, and as we were talking about on Saturday for our anniversary, that
our 2-year anniversary special.
If it wasn't for you guys, we would for you the viewers, we would have no channel. And
also true.
And if it wasn't for Jesus, we wouldn't even know about healing. So
that is right. So
we all might be dead.
That's
Who
true.
knows? Him and I. Anyway, but we love you guys so much, and we're so thankful that you come on every week. You're so faithful, and that's what I love that word faithful, because that's who God is. God is faithful.
He's faithful. Are you full of faith?
He is faithful. And so anyway, a few little announcements. We've got our Healing Journeys today live. Live in-person conference. And this is June 17th and 18th in North Carolina.
That's almost a little over a month from now.
Gosh, I know.
In North Carolina.
So much has to happen before then, which is crazy.
North Carolina.
Yes.
Okay.
What did I say?
No, I make sure I heard it right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
we have a lot of things in South Carolina that we do, but North Carolina.
Freedom Christian Center. That is Pastor Dean Melton. Our very good friend Karen Jolly was the one that set this up for us, so it's going to be amazing.
They're an amazing couple, Karen and Derry Jolly.
Yes, and then their daughter Lisa.
Oh yeah,
and her husband BJ. Amazing people. So anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. So please come. We've got 100 seats left. Like literally, that's it.
How do they register, Julieann?
They register on healingjourneystoday.com. You're registering. It's free, but you're registering because we have to make sure that we have enough seats.
And don't register if you're not going to go.
Yeah, don't do it by faith.
We're thrilled that you want to go, but if you don't think you're going to be able to make it, please don't put your name in, because that will take a seat away from someone else who can
Yeah.
go.
And,
So
yeah,
make
we've
sure
got
you figure that
Trust
out.
me, at the last minute, always people are sitting at the door waiting to get in, and then we can't let them in because someone else already reserved the ticket, and then they don't even show up.
Right here, Judy. Someone says greetings from North Queensland, Australia.
Well, obviously, Judy, you will not be coming to
Wow,
our
Judy,
healing conference.
great that you're here. And someone here says that identified and pulled down tormenting leg spasm stronghold, part of Julieann's teaching. Well,
Yes.
you have we're going to pray right now in the
Yeah.
name of Jesus. We just pray that pain is
In the
gone
name
out
of
of your
Jesus'
leg.
name.
We're just standing in agreement with you that the healing power of Jesus Christ, as is evidenced in 1 Peter 2:24, that says, by his stripes you are healed. All the torment and the pain and the lashing he went through, the torture he went through, was so you would not have to go through this. So he took that pain already on his body so you wouldn't have to. So 1 Peter 2:24, stand on that scripture. And we believe that your pain will be gone.
Yeah, and you know what I
Jesus'
love
name.
about that scripture too is that he was not only quoting Isaiah the prophet, but he was also coming from an eyewitness of watching Jesus do exactly what Isaiah the prophet said. And so that is awesome. I didn't. Someone pointed that out, and I was like, "Wow!"
Who was the
thought
eyewitness?
about that? Peter.
Peter was, yeah.
Peter,
Peter,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Peter saw
was
what
the
Jesus did. Yes.
So Isaiah prophesied it way long ago.
I thought you meant that Peter witnessed Isaiah, but
No, Jesus did it. And then Peter not only was quoting by his stripes you're healed, but he also saw it. He was an eyewitness to what Jesus was doing.
Amen.
Okay, so anyway, so there's that. So what that is, June 17th and 18th, please go to healingjourneystoday.com and make sure that you register. It is free. And then also we have our new teacher just started, Lance Williams. It was Sunday at 4 p.m.
He's a good man, awesome. Lance Williams. He's a good man.
So good. And also Colleen Iammarino, which she's now kind of old school because she's been with us almost a month. So yeah, so she's got in.
But she's not old. She's gloriously gorgeous.
Yes,
and
she
young
is.
And youthful. That's what she is. Yeah.
But she's got, she's in her groove now. So anyway, so there's that. And then we have Joelle Hussey is starting on Friday as our guest teacher. She was healed of 30 years of
fear and anxiety.
Like crippling fear.
Yeah, like paralyzing fear.
Yeah. So she was healed of that. She's coming on to teach on Fridays as our guest teacher. And then we've got, Saturday starts our Juan and Terra Bonilla. And this is all about the prodigal son. And so I think you're going to get a lot out of it.
That's a great, boy, that's one of my favorite stories in the Bible, the prodigal son.
Yeah.
Yeah, and prodigal, a lot of people always say, is your son a prodigal? Is your child a prodigal? Prodigal means wasteful. It means throwing things away that are given to you. It means not responsible. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, we're talking today's topic. We're talking about solving our problems together.
So one of our
problems was coming up with a title.
Yes, I'm just going to say, this is like going, you get to go into the back door and see what Butch and Julieann were talking about before this.
Right.
We know what we wanted to talk about, but we didn't know what the title was.
Right.
So he's like, how about this? No. How about this? No, I'm not going to. No, I wouldn't watch it if you named it this. So we should just, we should do? We should start the broadcast discussing a title.
And have you guys,
and then you guys give us the title after, and Sophia
will put
it on there.
That'd be so cool. You guys engaging and voting on what the title should be would be really, really cool.
We should do that next week.
Yeah. And by the way, how can we engage all of you more in this broadcast? How can we get you guys to even be more a part of this? We ask you questions all the time. Some of you answer the questions. A lot of you don't comment. I completely get it. I watch a lot of broadcasts and never comment, but we'd love to hear your comments and your questions on anything. We're here to talk about relationships. Everyone else here on Healing Journeys talks about, of course, healing, both mentally, physically, and spiritually. But we talk about healing of marriages and relationships. And we really feel it's necessary. We were speaking at an Andrew Wommack conference last August. In fact, we'll be there again this August.
Wow, it's going to be a year then.
Yeah, it'd be at the Healing is Here conference, and we spoke on marriage, and it was such a huge, powerful moment. We were up on stage for like 45 minutes, and we asked if anybody in the audience needs prayer for their marriage after we spoke, and nearly the entire auditorium stood up and came down towards us for prayer. You wouldn't believe the healing people need in their marriages. And so it can start just by all of us sharing what's going on in our hearts right here on a little platform called Healing Journeys Today. So we're talking about solving our problems together. So let's just talk for a second. We've been married 30 years on Monday, which I still can't believe. I was looking at a picture from our We have a picture of our wedding day from 1992. It's an actual photo taken with an actual camera because they didn't have phones back then.
Wow.
You and I both look like we're 7 years old.
And I wasn't. I was 30. Well, I was turning 30.
I was 27. I'm 57.
Yeah,
now.
it's so weird because
Crazy.
honestly, I felt like I always looked, well, no, I don't. I look much older now, but I always thought I looked older than my age. That's how I used to, before BC, before Christ, I used to get into bars because I always looked older.
Yeah. But the point is, we going back 30 years. Now, how did we manage to survive as a couple for 30 years? I mean,
only by the grace
well,
of God. We were saved only 22 of the,
we were not, listen, we were not saved. We were just young kids when we got married. I say young, 27. For me, that was young compared to now. But we got married, had no clue how to even model a good marriage. We didn't have marriages modeled well for us at all. I grew up in a house where marriage was not really perfect at all in any way. There was a lot of anger. There was a lot of lot of loudness in the house I grew up in.
I don't think marriage was honored in our houses.
Not even close.
So can you imagine now two people getting together and we don't know how to honor each other because we didn't see any honoring. And yes, is it our fault? We could have gone to marriage classes.
Of course.
We could have done all that.
Who wants to do something like that? And back then, I was busy working. I knew I had to work. I knew I had to build a career. Yeah. I knew I wanted to be in California because I'm from Michigan. So I'm like, I'm going to go do all those things. Oh, I got this really cool woman now. She's my wife. But then how are we married? What do we do?
I'm a really cool woman.
What do we do? I remember when we first got married, we were hardly ever together because we were doing our own projects separately.
No, it was me. It wasn't you.
Well, I'm trying to be
nice. You were so kind. It was me. I was doing it. I had my own schedule, my own life, and he had to either deal with it or, oh, well, too bad. Yep. I'm not giving up my schedule.
So right there, let's just stop right there. So when one spouse says, I don't care, I'm doing it my way, is that going to build a strong relationship? Let me ask you that. I mean, the answer is no, of course it is. But what do you do? How do you, as a spouse or a person in a relationship, how do you make the relationship stronger? Is it going to be all about how you want to do things? Yes. Or is it going to be about how the two of you want to do things? Shouldn't you guys agree on what you want to do? Now, is it that hard to agree? But let me hear in the comments. Is it hard for you to agree with your spouse? Let me know, because we want to know. Do you find it easy to agree with your spouse, or is it hard to agree? Let us know. And by the way, if it's easy to agree, was it hard before? Did it get easier? Let us know about that too. We want to know how you guys walked through your difficulties.
Okay, well, Susie Love says men don't like to talk. It's so difficult. And we've talked about this before.
Men don't like to talk. It's so difficult. 99% of guys don't like to talk. There are some guys that do.
And why?
Why don't we like to talk? I guess it's interesting.
We've discussed this before.
Well, I think again, I'm not a scientist, but I am a guy. So I have a lot of experience being a guy. You have an
experience being a guy.
I do. I just don't think men are wired that way from birth. I think men aren't as emotional growing up. I mean, yes, we have emotions, but we're not. I don't know.
You weren't allowed to indulge in your emotions?
Not really. I mean, I was raised in a family of 3 brothers. I have 4 boys, and my mother wasn't in the house, and then my father married a woman with 2 other boys. So there were 6 boys in the house, and I had all boy cousins. We had like nothing but guys running around like crazy. We had one girl that was my stepmom for a while. My actual mom was there for a while till I was 9. Then she was gone. Then my stepmom showed up when I was about 17.
Right.
And so it was just guys all the time. And then by the time I got out of the house, I had no idea how to deal with women. I would see movies. I would watch movies. Oh, that's how guys deal with women. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'd get all. Yeah. That's why entertainment is so powerful. That's why I'm so passionate about providing good entertainment, because I know how powerful and influential entertainment can be. And we'll get to that in a second. Lisa Johnson says, I kind of had to be that way recently because my husband's an introvert. I'm sorry, but I have to have some friends. LOL. Your husband's an introvert. Gotcha. Well, it's hard to talk to an introvert. I mean, if an introvert doesn't want to talk to you, it's very tricky to try and get through to them. I understand that. So
I love this. Jacqueline says,
why do men randomly?
Jacquelinda.
Oh, excuse me, Jacquelinda. Why do men randomly open up and talk out of nowhere, and other times they don't?
Can you speak for all men, please?
I need a specific situation. That's a good question. There's a lot of women questions we can ask too.
Just you know what? Ask. Us girls, we can answer those questions. Guys, if you have any questions, ask us, and we will let you know.
Why are women so emotional?
Why are we so emotional? Well, okay.
Is that from birth, or is
well,
is that acquired?
Oh, I've
life?
seen little baby boys be crying like, little baby, like,
Keyword is baby, yes, but
yeah.
grown
Well,
people.
I'm just saying
yes.
that I've seen, well, here's the deal.
Is it? Let me ask you this: are women more emotional than men? Do you think?
I think so, because I think that women think.
I'm going to say the answer is yes, but
well,
I'm asking you.
No, that have a different heart about things. Like women are like, even if you're not a mom yet, you still have a mom thing on the inside of you that you want to take care of people. So you will be very emotional if we see somebody not doing well. We see somebody that needs some help. We see, a dog on the street or whatever, but also too, like a little baby crying, and or somebody not doing well in a relationship, somebody not doing well physically in their body. We as mothers want to make everything okay. I don't know if dads want to, men I think just want to fix it, and women want to draw something out in you that can make it better.
And men from a young age, at least when I grew up, men are taught to exhibit strength. You have to be strong. You have to exhibit strength and be that type of thing. And at least when I grew up, again in the late 60s, 70s, 80s, it was sort of frowned upon. At least in the Midwest where I grew up, it was like not cool to be emotional. It wasn't cool to be, a baby, I guess, if you will. You need to man up,
Right. So we were not, in our house, not that it was like girls go crazy and be emotional. Imagine this. My stepdad comes into our family and we've got 3 teenagers and my mom.
3 teenage girls.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, girls. So we had 4 women. Like immediately as a stepfather. So he really struggled at first, but we definitely we are nurturing, but we are also, we'll tell you like it is. Like we will communicate. It may not be the communication that you want to hear, but we communicate. So let's say with my sisters, our communication skills weren't so great at times, and so instead of
they've gotten better.
Well, no, they have gotten better, but I'm just saying, at times it would just be a screaming match because it was like I wanted my way, she wanted her way, all those things. But that was also a very volatile house that we were raised in. So
I have a question too for you. Because my wife is obviously a very beautiful woman. She's a girl all the way, which you can obviously see. But you're not like I guess like
flower.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're a tough girl. You're tough.
Okay. Well,
so where did that come from?
Well, define tough.
Okay, you don't take any crap. You no one can mess. We mean define tough. I will point out 10 women. Okay, quit making.
I know. Move. See, he just got mad.
Well, no, you're making the table move. And
I know.
Audience is getting.
I know. I bumped the table.
Yeah, don't touch the table.
See, so here's my toughness coming up.
Yeah, right there. But listen, like there's a lot of women I could point to right now that are very like they're more like I guess you would say girly girl. I suppose I would say. Now you're very girly in many ways, but you're also very.
I'm so not.
Nobody would mess with you ever.
Right, but yeah, but
so where'd that come from?
Confidence.
But where'd that come from?
Well, since I became a Christian,
because before that, you were like that. Before that, where did the confidence?
Well, before that, it wasn't.
Don't mess with me attitude.
It wasn't. It wasn't confidence. It was out of fear. Like if you try to mess with me, I'm going to hurt you because I've been hurt, so I want to hurt you, so you feel as hurt as I do. But after I became a Christian, the confidence started. The no confidence, the imposter person, the imposer.
Imposter.
I'm sorry, the imposter.
Imposer? What? No, the imposer is someone who imposes on somebody. Like, I hate to impose. Yes.
The imposter. Anyway, the imposter left, and the real person started coming out. And the real, like the gold started coming out of me, meaning that it was the stuff that Jesus deposited on the inside of me, his word that came in there and started telling me who I was, as opposed to me just trying to figure out who I was because, well, I want to be like her, or I want to be like that person. I want to be like this person, right? So then we try to take on other people's personalities. And that is literally, it's wrong. It's a lie. It's not who you are.
But I understand. Listen, I understand that Christ changed everything. I get that. I'm just going before Christ.
That's what I'm saying. It was false. It wasn't real. It was out of anger. It was out of There wasn't. Okay, like I taught on this on Tuesday.
Right.
Boldness is not an attitude, because anybody can act like they're bold, right? actors act all day long, they get paid for it. I can act like I'm bold when I'm really trembling and, shaking on the inside. But boldness in my life now has come from the truth of the word telling me who I am in Christ. And now it's like you can't tell me anything different. Now, back before, I had to put on a facade because I put myself in so many dumb situations, so many bad situations, that if I didn't if I didn't let people think that I was, tough and strong, they probably would have taken advantage of me.
Well, for me, when I was younger,
You not like that answer?
I thought it was a great answer.
What's your comment on that? You asked me the question. So
why do I have to comment on it?
Well, no. So what
you just answered it.
But what's your feeling about what I just said?
Well, it makes sense. It totally makes sense to me. I don't really have a comment.
Okay.
That was a good answer. You see, though, the demanding, you see how demanding she is with the whole, what's your answer? It's like, what if I don't have one?
Well, because to me, I ask a question for a reason.
Well, I wanted them to hear the answer.
Oh, okay.
We have people watching us, we have a whole audience.
No, I'm thinking that you and I are just in the office.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really need the answer because I know the answer, but I mean, I want them to know the answer. That's what this whole online thing is for. I sound like William Shatner. That's what it's for. Anyway, with me, when I was a kid, I was actually emotional as a kid because the adults in my life had managed things so let's just put it this way.
Badly?
Yeah, badly, that I couldn't fix it. And I'd get very upset because I'd see like bad decisions being made constantly.
Yeah.
And I'd be going, why? And as a child, you have no power. You don't have any money. You don't have a job. You don't have any decision-making power at all. And you're going, why? And so you feel powerless. So again, it comes out as frustration.
Yeah.
So I taught myself to be stronger because I knew that I wasn't going to allow myself to be ruled by those that were making decisions for me. I basically couldn't wait to grow up so I could make my own decisions. So I left my house when I was 18 years old.
So were you frustrated when you started seeing yourself make mistakes, or did you be like, or did you ever identify and say, oh, I get where my parents?
No, it would kind of be a mix of the two. I would be upset when I made a mistake. And then I would blame in my own head. I'd blame my parents for not teaching me that when I was younger.
Right.
Like I'd make mistakes at age 19 and 20 that I should have learned not to do when I was 12. But when I did them, I'd be like, man, I wish somebody had taught me this. Now, that wasn't right of me to do that. I should have just known, the things I was doing, I should have known. I didn't anyone to teach me that. But I kind of went in for the blame game at first. But then when I realized there was no one to blame but me, I realized I had to start taking stock of myself and making myself stronger and learning everything I could possibly learn. In my 20s, that's when I met you in my 20s. I was doing everything I could. I was learning how to play guitar. I was learning how to draw. I was learning how to write. I was learning how to animate. I was learning.
How do you learn how to have a relationship?
Well, I had to get a good relationship. I had a few relationships with some people before that, but nothing very serious. I didn't even know how to, really. I didn't know how to, and didn't have the time to, really, at the time.
Yeah.
I needed to learn that a relationship takes time.
Boy, was I blessed because he didn't have the time back then. He could have just told me, hey, I don't have time right now.
There's a bug in here. But when we got married, you didn't have the time.
I didn't have
after we got married. So
see, I reeled him in. We got married. Then I said, bye. I've got things to do, which was horrible and wrong.
Then why'd you do that?
Because I had my own schedule. I didn't want to give up my schedule. I didn't want to lose myself. I see that was out of fear.
So now let me ask you this: 30 years later, am I still here, or is the schedule still here?
Oh, the schedule's still here, and you're here.
Oh well, it's a different schedule.
But now our schedule is together.
Yeah, it's a way different.
That's the difference. But what he just said, I wanted to actually talk about is that I was afraid that if I gave in to him and I allowed him to be, well, not I'm going to say like a husband, but to be there as a equal to me. Now this is all in the beginning. But that would scare me because if he knew me too well, if he knew everything about me, then the facade of that tough girl would not be there because she really was a very scared, anxious, fearful person on the inside. So I didn't want With audio.
Unmute. There we go. Can you guys hear us now? Okay, something happened with the microphone. It got muted somehow. We didn't.
How about now? Can you guys hear us?
Let us know if we can hear you. Just give us a thumbs up.
You can hear us.
People are saying no sound. I think the mic is back on. That was just delayed. Hold on. We're gonna keep talking anyway. So yeah, good. We're back. Okay, great.
Well, what's so weird is we were just sitting here.
We didn't touch anything.
Somehow it got muted.
Yep.
But what I was
trying to silence.
Let me just repeat this a little bit. I was that way because if I let anybody in, like Butch, even the man that I married, and he found out that facade was not real, it was based on fear, it was based on anxiety, it was based on all these other things. So the facade was act like you're tough, act like you're all those things, that you're bold and you're aggressive and you're all those things and authoritative and all that. So he would have found out that I was none of the above. So I didn't want to get him, I didn't want him to be able to look in. So it took years.
You were that deep? You were that deep?
Yeah.
Oh,
so it took years for me to be able to like let it go. And it was body image. It was, and he never, let me just tell you, but she never ever said a word about like, oh, you're too, you're fat or you've got, he would well, I wasn't fat, but I mean like, your body doesn't look like the models that are out there. He would have never said that. In my head, I would play these scenarios that, well, he probably wants to look at somebody else that looks better than me. I was never like a twig, I'm kind of muscular. And I'm a little bigger than the normal girl, but I always, thought, well, if I was little, maybe it would be better. And all these dumb things that we do, we let our mind go crazy. Girls, don't we? Isn't it stupid? Why don't we just celebrate who we are right now? No, we don't want to get into like, well, this is just my body, and then you to say this is just my body, but you made some really unhealthy choices for your body. That's two different things. I'm not going to be a little small, petite, small boned girl, but I also don't have fat on me because I keep myself in good shape.
She works out quite regularly. And I want to answer Tyler. He asked this question. Did you learn how to write or draw first? Is asking. I learned how to draw first. I was an artist first, and then I became a writer after that because I knew I needed to be more than just an artist if I was going to make a living in the animation business. But getting back to solving problems together. Now, first of all, when we got married, we had to solve the problem of being together. But then,
that was hard.
But then once we had children, that was a whole other layer that added on to the relationship. See what the Lord's going to,
especially the the punishments of our kids.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that later. But the Lord will layer onto you things that you're ready for. Once the relationship is stable, then the child. Listen, I know children come when the relationship isn't stable. Yeah. But if you want to have a godly marriage, it's like, look, we're going to have kids, and we decided to raise our kids in a way that we weren't raised. We're going to have a house of peace. We're going to have a house of positivity. We're going to have a house of family and togetherness. We're going to be together all the time because in our lives, it didn't really happen that much. So we knew we wanted to do things exactly the opposite to how we were raised. And so once our children showed up, that was a whole different set of problems. And then when my career started taking off, that was a whole other set of problems. I thought your career being taken off would be amazing. Well, it was, but it still comes with a lot of challenges because
I would say problems. I would say challenges.
I'd say challenges, but like, when, but good ones. But we've all heard stories of people who get everything they're asking for and it falls apart completely because they weren't ready for it, or they didn't handle it properly, or they handed it to the wrong people, or they didn't handle it at all, or they got lazy, or they got scared, or whatever. So all those challenges come up too. So I want to say to all of you out there that are career oriented, that are trying to do something great that God's put in your heart, challenges will come. It doesn't mean that God is testing you. God's not going to put weight on you that you can't handle. The world will test you. The situation will test you, and God will show you a way out. He will provide a way of escape, the Bible says. Yeah. God will show you that, but he's not going to put that horrible, terrible weight on you to teach you a lesson. He's not a terrible father. He's a good father.
Yeah. So when you guys are coming up against certain things, listen, you're always going to be facing situations. I'm not just saying always problems. You are going to be facing situations. I don't care if you've been married 10 years, 15 years, 30 years, or 45 years, there's always going to be things that are coming up. It's like right now where my mom is getting older. And so, we are discussing things that, that are going to be down the road for her. And we can see there's going to be some issues that are coming up.
Your mom.
Because we're seeing it now. So if we don't start together working on those, then we're both going to be caught off guard, and it's going to be very stressful. And I refuse. Here's the thing. You got to set your boundaries. And let me tell you something. That me today out on my prayer walk, which I do at least 5 days a week. This morning was, Lord, I give you this, I give you that, I give you this, I give you that. Because I started taking on all the cares of everything that was going on in our lives, and it was not good. As a matter of fact, a mistake that I made this morning, and I don't ever do this, but this is how weird it was. Someone had sent me an email, and it looked interesting. So I opened up the email before I got out of bed, and and the email was like a video. I started watching it, and it was so negative that it really set my day to where I started feeling like I didn't feel good, like on the inside. I was not joyful at all. I wasn't happy. I felt really like kind of angry and frustrated. And then the Lord said to me on my walk, he said, you need to place those boundaries in your life. You do not get up and watch something that's negative. If you're going to get up and lay in bed for a moment, you're going to listen to my word, because the things that we have planned, that Butch and I are doing, the things that God has called us to do, I cannot be listening to someone else's negativity, right?
Right.
Because that's not going to help us in our things that we have been called to do and the purpose for our life. And so I'm telling you, you need to create those boundaries and say, I'm not going to trespass through my own boundaries that I set. I'm setting them, and these are set to keep you at rest, to keep you in peace, because he says that he will keep you in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on him. Mm-hmm. So if you can keep your mind on him, and especially because when you wake up in the morning, you're very vulnerable. You just woke up. Mm-hmm. Now imagine you're just filling your ears full of this negativity. That was so dumb. But I'll tell you what, I'm kind of glad it happened, because sometimes we do little bits at a time. You don't realize how that's all kind of piling up. But now I will never, ever allow that to happen to me again, ever.
Good. Yeah. By the way, you told me to watch that video, and I watched it myself. And it's actually a very informative, uplifting video, but it deals with a negative subject.
Yeah.
So,
it's like, I don't need to. Yeah. I could have heard that probably 4 hours later and dealt with it fine. Right. But not when you just think your eyes open and then I see this and I turn it on. That was dumb. I am in control of my own spirit here. I'm in control of my own personality, and I am in control of what goes in my ears and what goes into my eyes.
This guy said, Brian says, dumping cable and no TV antenna helped change my life. It can do that. Yes. Getting rid of all that stuff. This young lady says she's watching from the Philippines. Hello.
Nasitas.
Hello. Yes, Nasitas. And Jacquelinda says, I think discussing relationships with the wrong people can sometimes hinder us too. They overstep and start acting like your relationship is their business. Well, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
But I was just going to say, be very careful who you allow to impart into your life. Be very, very careful about that, because most times people love having other people be miserable with them, because they've been miserable, so they want you to be miserable too. If they're legitimately trying to help you, that's one thing. But you need to turn to the Lord, number one, to help you with your relationship. And when you can change this, when you can change you, the other people will change along with you, because they'll have no choice. Yeah. They're going to have to change to come alongside, because you cannot change somebody else. I cannot change her no matter how hard I try. I can't, because I don't have the power to do that, but I do have the power to change me. So you change you, work on that first.
Well, plus, I mean, think about it. If you when you're letting other people into your relationship, I'd rather see you go pay for a counselor than bring in somebody that you know that you're close with. Because, like, for instance, Butch and I, we've worked with a lot of couples before, but I know me, like, I have no ulterior motive. I don't care. I'm not going to go out and talk about your personal life to somebody else, where people are out there that will do that. Like, oh, well, don't tell whoever. Let's see. Oh yeah. Don't tell Brian. But you know what's going on is in their relationship, blah, 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 blah. Right. But please don't tell them I told you that. Right. Then they know. And do not let that happen, or don't discuss your personal stuff with your friends, because your friends are going to use it against you. Or when you go back to that guy that you said was a jerk, you go back to him and they'll be like, what are you doing? What are you, crazy? Blah, 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 blah. I don't want him around. I know what he did. You need to discuss this stuff with the Lord. You bring it to the Lord first. He is your counselor. He will help you in everything. And they remember, God ordained marriage. Of course, he's in your marriage. He wants to see your marriage succeed in every possible way. So you want to take it to the Lord, just like today. Before I even started talking, I was like, Lord, I feel like I feel like a bunch of like bricks just fell on
You
my
mean today
head.
when you were walking?
Yeah. And so I didn't even ask him why do I feel this way? He literally told me, he said, don't do that again. So guess what? Julieann's never going to do that again. I will never start my day off negative like that. There's too many things that will try to come into play during the day.
And we live in this beautiful area with this beautiful weather all the time. And I'm just saying that's one aspect of how beautiful our lives are or can be. You know, you can be in the most beautiful area with the most beautiful weather and have the most miserable attitude. And we don't want to do that. You know, we don't want to do that.
So getting back to our title here, we can solve problems together, but you have to come on neutral ground. You can't be on this. You got to at least have some communication on, okay, even like before things will happen, right? You can set your boundaries together. You can set the way that you're going to do things. You can set your law, that you guys live by, your mission statement, your marriage statement. When you guys set those kind of, I don't say laws, but when you set those kind of
boundaries,
parameters, rules for your marriage, then there's not going to be a lot of arguing when it comes to problem solving together, because obviously you have already talked about it. You know that it's, might be something in the future, but you know how you each other stand on it, where you stand on it. So everything that you can do to try to get your marriage in a place, or your relationship in a place where you can talk about anything without one of you getting mad and stomping out of the room, or feeling like, whatever, like you feel being offended or getting hurt or any of that stuff. That is what you can do. That is your preparation for sure.
Well, guys, we love you. We got to go. We're so glad you tuned in this week. And don't forget, solve those issues together as a couple. Don't be an island unto yourself. Don't try and do it all yourself.
Create your boundaries.
Create your boundaries. Make sure that you discuss things openly with each other. Don't hide your feelings. And you know what? Just try to understand each other a little bit more this week. Set some time aside to, spend some time together. That's going to really help. Okay? All right. We love you guys. Lisa Johnson says, be safe. Love you, Mom and Dad. Hey, Lisa, our daughter, Lisa. We love you, kiddo. All right. We love you all. Thanks for being here with us. Don't forget, Healing Journeys Today conference in June. And don't forget, Lance Williams is on this week as well.
And then all the rest of the gang, the normal players, and then Joel Hussey on Friday, and a new journey on Saturday.
And next week, we're doing our 30th anniversary special, being a married couple for 30 years. So come by and see what special surprises we have.
Bye.
See you guys later. Bye-bye.